Jones, Fox News.
It's right here in Frisco where I live. And to be honest, this is uncharacteristic of this community and as a tragedy nonetheless. And it just goes to show you that something like this can happen anywhere. But from what I've been able to gather is that there was some type of dispute at this track meet, which I guess neither one of these kids were participating in, and it was an altercation or a disagreement over a seat. And I guess a argument ensued, and Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed the other man, the young man, to death.
And Austin, the victim, his twin brother was there. And
Right.
it's understanding that he witnessed all of this, his twin brother, which is like a part of him
Right.
being murdered.
Right. Yeah, Austin Metcalf's twin brother was right next to him, and he said that, by the time his brother had been stabbed and he turned around to see what had happened, it was too late. He couldn't do anything to save him, other than just hold him until he passed away. It's a very sad thing to happen, to lose your brother, especially a twin brother, just like that in a moment, in a blink of an eye.
And of course, this story has caught the nation's attention. What is it like there in your area after this occurred there? What are people saying? Are they in shock as well?
Oh yeah, the whole community is shocked. They're, reevaluating their security procedures at schools and at school events, and it made me think, we have metal detectors and all kinds of security measures at other sporting events throughout the country. Does this mean now that we need to do the same thing at these high school events? To me, in my opinion, I think we should. If you can save one life, by all means, we should have some type of extra security procedures in place at these high school events.
Greg, what we had here was a simple disagreement, a simple argument. How can it elevate to something like this where you're accused of stabbing someone to death
Well,
at such a young age? Both victims very young.
Well, I don't think it's as much as the argument or what the argument is about. I think it's where we are today and where our children are today. There is an extreme level of violence being perpetrated by a lot of these younger kids. Isaiah, we did the show last week on the 764, and that cult and how violent that cult is, and it's all involving young kids. It's just where we are. The level of violence being displayed by these kids today is unheard of, but I don't want to say it's a new normal, but it appears to be. You got everything going on from incidents like this to kids killing their parents. It's nothing.
What do you think is contributing to this, and what can be done about this? Obviously, if you are a parent, that hasn't been murdered by your child, because we recently had a case where a young man in the northern part of the United States, and I wanted to take a look at this, and we probably will, killed his mom and his stepdad recently. So, what can parents do short of not becoming a victim themselves? What can they do with these children they love? But these children, in some instances, will turn on them and kill them.
Exactly. And parents have to come to the realization that they need to be more cautious and more aware of their children's behavior and their children's attitude. What is the level of aggression in your child? Does your child overreact in certain situations, get, increased, very angry as a result of something that has happened? You need to monitor those type of things. And unfortunately, you have to be prepared as a parent. If your child has that level of aggression where they become a threat to you or anyone else for that matter, you need to be prepared to call law enforcement in or somebody to come in and deal with that situation. Because as we said, you have these tragedies where these parents are being killed by their kids. Some of those parents, I guarantee you, believe that they could handle the situation or the situation wasn't that bad. You can't take that chance today.
And of course, what you just said was very important, that most parents need to realize or should realize. In some instances, you have children that you simply can't handle. And it's okay. Even though you're the parent, you have to be honest with yourself and say, I can't handle this kid.
Right.
And no one should hold them in judgment, and they should get the help they need, right?
Right. Well, when a kid picks up, and this is in my opinion, when a kid picks up a deadly weapon, they're no longer a kid. Because now you're taking adult actions and you need to be handled as an adult and face adult consequences. It's that simple. Otherwise, if you keep treating kids with kid gloves, you're going to end up with a lot more tragedies just like this.
All right. Greg Dupree, private investigator, security consultant for TLAC Now in the Dallas area, also in the Houston area. Thank you for joining us with this update and give my best to your community. Obviously, this is a tough loss
It
on
is
both
very tough.
sides. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for
Thank you,
joining us.
Isaiah.